Okay, so I'd like to call to order the Conservation Commission and Inland Wetland Agency meeting on October 22nd, 2024 at 6:03. Can we get a roll call
Yes, Cheryl Brown,
here?
Paul Vanette,
Here.
Heather Breslin,
Here.
and Catherine Knight.
Here.
All right, you have four, you have a quorum.
Okay, so do we have anybody here to speak in the public comment? If so, raise your hand.
Yeah, so if you're an attendee listening in and want to speak about a conservation issue on broad terms, you can't speak about any specific pending application. You can, if you do *9, if you're calling in, you should be able to effectively raise your hand and speak. But I don't, you have one person listening in, but so far they have not.
Okay.
But they want to speak.
All right, so I guess we can move on to receipt and discussion S24-647 31 Woodchuck Lane.
All right, so this is the receipt of a new application. The applicant is on Keeler's Brook, which is a tributary of the 5 Mile River, and they wish to install a new garage at the rear of their property. The garage would be within the upland review area of the watercourse, and in addition to the garage, the construction of the garage will require the installation of stormwater management measures, as well as some flood storage compensation measures. And with that, it looks like the applicant's team is here. And if so, if either of you want to kind of take over and just give the agency an overview of the scope of your proposal.
Good evening. My name is Alexandra Mock, and I'm here to present the application. Can I share the screen, please?
Should be able to, yes.
Okay. So the application is proposing a detached garage and the flood storage compensation area to be designated in the front of the property. The picture is actually here for a reason, because our map doesn't show the vegetation or the large trees existing at the site. And I would like you to remember this kind of elderly dogwood, which grows here in the front of the residence. It's going to be impacted by our activities. And then here along the driveway, we have forsythia bushes. Forsythia is not a non-native ornamental shrub, which has a tendency to spread. A few of those forsythia bushes may be also impacted by the activities. Here's the bird view of the property. This is a 0.75 acre site, and Keeler's Brook flows over here, kind of crosses the corner. And the Keeler's Brook has a drainage easement around it, and I will show you the exact boundaries on our site plan. This is a single family residence. The area is relatively level, as you've seen on the previous picture, and is maintained as a lawn within the recreational area, but the protected area is actually wooded. So these are the pictures of the Keeler's Brook here, and this is mostly an upland area associated with the edge of the brook. But this section has a little bit of a wetland fringe. In the background, you can see some sort of marshy vegetation. And I believe this could be an old pond or maybe an elbow from the river, which was then disconnected, silted in, which doesn't act as a pond anymore, but there's like tall reeds growing in that area. As you can see, the rest here of the property is pretty level lawn, and here's the blue spruce. Here's the view of the back. So this wall is actually important because it's going to not only has been delineating the protected area, but also protects the area. And you can see that in the back, there are trees, large trees, which are associated with Killer's Brook. Here are the proposed activities, and I will start with the detached garage, which is going to be located at the end of the driveway. So this is like conveniently a very convenient location. So when analyzing any other alternatives, this was actually the best one because it utilizes the existing asphalt. So we only have to slightly modify it. So this area shows that there's going to be an increase of the blacktop a little bit to adjust to the width of the new garage. And here where those forsythia bushes are, so a few of them may actually have to be removed. And this area shows the area of asphalt, which is now going to be underneath the proposed garage. To mitigate for the increase of the impervious surface and stormwater runoff, we are going to be taking the roof runoff and putting it into an in-ground infiltration system. In green, we have the compensation storage area. The garage is located within the flood zone, and I will show you more details on the next slide. So it's going to take some of the storage capacity for the floods. We are going to be recreating the loss here, so there will be no impact. Here are the flood zones. So the garage, this little area, is located within zone AE. And then the rest of the garage is located within, actually the entire garage is located within 100-year flood zone, which is over here. This is the 100-year floodplain, the whole thing. During the construction, to avoid any impact to the wetland, we are going to be using silt fence, which is here in orange, around our proposed garage. Also, we're going to have silt fence here because, as you remember, we're going to be grading the front to creating more storage. And additional silt fence is going to be here, probably not needed, but just in case. Also, the existing stone wall is going to be a very strong physical barrier, but we do not expect any of the silt passing the silt fence. Long-term impact, which is associated with the stormwater increase, as I stated before, are going to be here mitigated into this through this in-ground infiltration system. Now, it is very important that we're not going to be introducing any fill to the area because, again, the flood storage capacity has to remain the same. So any excavated material, which is going to be around 171 cubic yards, is going to be taken off-site. Also, here's the anti-tracking pad, which is going to be preventing any silt coming on the road from the construction site. And this is it, and I'm here to answer any questions. Also, Wayne DeBenzo is here from Fairfield County Engineering, and if you have any questions regarding the drainage and all the flood storage capacity, he's here to address them.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, I see Catherine has her hand up.
Hi, I have a few questions. One is to understand where the wetlands are and the wetland line and the upland review lines. It would be helpful to have those on the plan for the application.
But the wetland delineation was done at the last minute, kind of. But we are measuring the distance to the garage, which is more than 30 feet from the stone wall. The brook flows within the drainage easement, so it flows basically here. There's a little bit of an upland fringe here, and the rest here is basically low wetland fringe.
Has there been any soil, like wetland delineations
Yes,
done?
I did the delineation and I did submit a soil report and also a sketch, which again, the wetlands are within the drainage easement.
Or where are they marked on here?
We'll have to send a surveyor to mark them.
So where would about 100 feet from the
Yeah.
wetland line be? Just kind of if you were ballparking it.
Yeah, the Wayne Devanzo, Fairfield County Engineering. Actually, my plan does show the 100-foot setback. If I could show that.
Yeah, I
I
will
think-
stop sharing.
Thank you.
Sure, just a quick question too, for clarification. It's a detached garage?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you said attached before, sorry. Thanks.
Can everybody see that?
No.
Not
Love to
yet.
tell you yes, but no.
Yes.
Now again.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay. This red line is the 100-foot
right,
upland review area.
everything is within it.
Yeah, very small part is out of it.
And then on the website, the wetland delineation is now posted. And it generally shows wetlands almost up to the stone wall that's shown on Mr. Devanzo's plan.
Is there a particular reason they don't want to use the existing asphalt drive area to construct the garage over it? Not over it, but instead of it?
Yeah, it would actually block the existing 2-car garage that is on the side of the house.
So that's remaining a garage.
Yes, correct. So the detached garage is actually as far forward as it can be.
Oh, I see. I thought
Yeah.
I was replacing it. Got it.
Yeah, no, it's staying.
So the existing wall is pretty much on the wetland line. It's not creating a buffer area currently to the wetlands. It's on the wetland line.
We're going to the upper portion of it. So there's you can see the gap between the easement line and the wall. So this area is actually an upland. It's not a wetland. So there is a little bit of a buffer. And as you could see from the picture, there were those large trees which are covering, like there's a line of trees along the brook, which provide a very deep root system and stabilization for the channel. And also the wall creates a barrier and protection to the regulated area.
Would you mind going to the aerial?
Yeah. When you have, okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry, I forgot you were switched people there.
Okay, let's go back. What is happening? Okay.
Or maybe I'll
Oh, hold on.
I can do a near map aerial if you like.
Okay. Hold on, I'm there. Area is here. Come on. Okay. So here's the aerial photograph. So you can see that this is basically the brook, and then this is all buffer. And here from this picture was taken during the winter time, so you can see actually the density of the leaves, but you can see that the trees are basically going all the way on both sides.
Okay, and last,
Yeah,
I was just going to ask, you said, did you say water catchment? Or some drainage was in the proposal?
Yes, so this
Yeah.
is going to be an in-ground infiltration system,
Okay.
which is going to take runoff from the roof of the proposed garage.
See.
And I think Catherine has her hand raised as well, and again,
yeah, and looking at the wetland soil report, I mean, the wetlands for most of the wall, about half the wall goes right up to the wall in terms of the delineation, so that's not actually a buffer for half of it. So there's no
Yes,
buffer.
that's correct.
So there's not really much of a buffer
But there are some
for the
trees,
other section.
right?
I mean, because that's
Yes.
the wetlands, so like to say that the wetlands are a buffer for themselves doesn't make sense. There's no buffer because the wetlands goes up to the wall.
So yes, I think this area does not have buffer.
Yeah,
Half of
so
it probably, and
doesn't-
the other half has upland buffer.
Well, I mean, that's how many feet is that? That's like a
It's
foot.
up to probably 10 feet.
Yeah, that's not much.
and Commissioner Vinette.
Yeah, this is just a question for Mrs. Moak. Reading your application, I just want to confirm that, and what you've described here as creating a new storage area in the front. I think I did read it correctly, that there's actually going to be less runoff after the construction of the garage, because it's going to be going into the new, filtration and storage area in front of the house.
I would like Wayne to answer this question because he's the designer of the
Yeah.
drainage.
Yeah, sure. Yes, the Caltech infiltrators will reduce the stormwater runoff for the 2 through 100-year storm. And the compensatory basin is not for the stormwater runoff. That's to ensure that there's no increase in the base flood elevation due to the construction of the garage. So
Okay.
they sort of serve two different purposes.
Okay, thank you.
So I think I think that with the wall being kind of the delineation right now, it might be nice to see something a little bit more of a buffer on this project. I don't know, it seemed like I mean, Catherine made a good point that the wall looks like it's actually possibly in the wetland on the bottom of the plan.
Do you have any particular area where you would like to have a buffer, or you feel like the entire length of the wall on this side should be planted? Or should we just focus on the area next to the construction?
It would be nice to have more of a buffer along the wall. I don't know if anybody else has any other comments about it.
I mean, just for reference and looking at other applications that have come where people have wanted to put in pools and doing other auxiliary structures as well, that are on the wetland, we've really been trying to be mindful about filtration for water, and the role of the buffer, the importance of the role of the buffer. And so to the extent that it's a compromised property in that it's all, within the upland review area, we're cognizant of that. But it would be nice to increase that, to like 35 feet or 25 feet from the wetland line.
Yeah, I think
More
with,
buffer.
I would agree with, it looks like the lawn goes directly up to the
Wall.
wall, which I think is, one of our concerns with runoff and fertilization and everything. So if we could give this a little bit more, that would be beneficial.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the proposed building is not, the footprint is not that much smaller than the house. It looks like. And so we're adding a lot of impervious surface, and I think a compromise would be plantings that would help the runoff.
Would it
I
be
mean, it should,
okay to, I'm sorry, would it be okay to put some plants here and then maybe create a little lawn area, because the hot tub is here and this is a very limited yard, and maybe add some buffer over here, but leave a little bit of a lawn here because it's pretty tight here.
Yeah, I think that the agency is, would be amenable to an undulating buffer as long
Yes.
as there is, the establishment of, a bit more, wetland, buffer in advance of getting to the wetland. So yeah, maybe
Yes.
something in the general area of where the, shed to be removed, currently exists. And then, maybe kind of another pocket where, about where it says, right, the B of building setback line, right?
Okay, yes, we'll do.
Okay, does anyone else have any additional comments or questions on this application? Okay, well, thank you for presenting. And we can't make any decisions tonight, but you know, we'd like to see a little more work on the planting at the next meeting or the next time you're able to make it. So,
Very well, thank you.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to discussion and or decision for S 24-645 36 Range Road.
So this one would be, tabled. It was received at the previous meeting. You had some comments. I did meet with the applicant. They're working on, attending to those comments, but at this point, there's no new information. So staff recommends that it be tabled to at least the next meeting.
Okay, sounds good. And then we have S 24-649 52 Wilson Avenue.
This
Yes,
application-
present. How are you?
Good, thank you. This application was received at the last, meeting as well. Again, as a recap, the applicant's proposing to remove a few, of the understory trees, deposit wood chips on the adjacent slope that slopes away from the wetland, and install, patio within the upland review area. At the last meeting, there didn't seem to be too many comments. You should have received in your packet, from me a staff report that includes a draft resolution to approve, with minimal special conditions. So that's
Okay, all
pretty.
right. Did anybody have any additional questions about this application or need to see anything? Okay, I did review the meeting minutes and the application materials that were on file. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the memorandum?
I'll
Sure.
make a motion to approve it. And
Okay,
jump in, Heather.
Catherine?
no, it's either everyone or no one. That's always how it
That's
works.
always, yep, totally. All right, do I have to say, is there any more discussion?
What,
Oh,
so
the
there
second?
was a second?
Oh, second? Okay, Commissioner Breslin? I'm sorry, I'm.
Any
forgetting the-
discussion?
Any discussion, thank you. All right, if there's no further discussion, then, we move to approve, the memorandum S 24-649 646 for 52 Wilson Avenue as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, I'm all over the place
You're doing
tonight.
great. You're doing
All
great.
good.
So,
Okay, so that is four
okay,
in agreement to the motion, so it passes.
okay. So. All right, then I guess we will move on to approval of minutes for October 8th, 2024.
And I'll just add to the, for the applicant, so your application was approved. And so what happens next is my office will type up a permit. We will mail that to you and email it to you, and then you will be officially all set to do the work that you propose.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, committee, for the review of our submission. And it was learned a lot in the process, which is great about my own property.
Excellent.
Great,
Great.
thank you.
Great.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Okay.
Okay, so minutes, anybody review them?
I did, I'll make a
Mhm.
motion to approve.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye.
And I'll abstain because I wasn't there. I did read them, but that was so that I could catch up on everything. So.
Okay.
All right, bond release and reductions. S21-584 6 Lorry Lane.
Okay, so unfortunately, I cannot access the recent photographs that staff took of these sites. So
Okay.
if you don't want to move ahead with some photographic evidence, we can just table. Otherwise, I can describe the conditions. This was a corrective action application. It had a relatively modest planting plan. The majority of that planting plan is still living, and I'd say generally provides a effective buffer between the active lawn area and the wetland of this property. But
Okay.
like I said, it's up to you. Okay.
You know,
Right.
if you're saying that it looks good,
Mhm.
like you've seen a lot of wetland
Right.
buffer plantings, so.
So
um,
these are both in the good enough. I've seen
Okay.
better, I've seen a lot worse.
Okay, all right.
How much is the bond? Sorry.
The amount is, when I say it's just it's $800 remaining.
Okay.
It's a very small.
As long as we're not, I trust you. As long as we don't have to take, it's like, $20,000 that we're seeing without, but makes
Okay.
sense to me.
So I'll make a motion to approve the release of the bond for S21-584. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And then we have S21-580 for 8 Leslie Lane, release of $2,662 for the bond.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I'd call it good enough. So you've actually considered a bond release for this project last year. The bonds held for 2 full growing seasons. This work was completed in 2021, and it was deemed not quite good enough. Part of that was that we did our inspection kind of late in the fall, so everything had kind of died back. This year, staff did go out earlier and take photographs, which I can't show you, but I'd say that it's good enough. It's this is within the wetland itself. In the front yard, there's large mature trees, the understory, and for the most part, the ground vegetation had been removed in 2021, and it was replanted with a mix of shrubs and a mix of herbaceous plugs. Some of the species of the plugs did well, some didn't do that great. the shrubs are generally surviving. So it no longer looks like a park-like condition with lawn under these large trees. It looks closer to a not quite a native wetland yet, but it's certainly moving in that direction.
Great. All right, so does anyone want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, thank you. Second? Okay.
Second,
Ah!
I keep trying to say, you know what, we should just assign roles.
Yep. All
I'm
right,
trying to be helpful and then I'm
Yeah,
quietly
yeah.
I made this awkward, sorry.
all right. All in favor? Aye.
I
Okay, moving on to conservation initiatives. Do we have anything to talk about tonight?
Yeah, we're talking about Cheryl Brown's record-breaking meeting speed.
this
I'm gonna
was
report back to
this-
Steve, like,
Yay!
dude. Cheryl's
this was excellent.
fire. Yeah.
Well, there
See what
wasn't.
happens when he's not, no, I'm just kidding.
I would say since there wasn't a huge agenda, come on. But I'll take credit anyways. All right, so I don't see anybody jumping in, so comments of staff?
No, I don't want to impede your record.
Okay. All right, comments of commissioners? We have
See,
no
this is where
comments.
Steve would typically just come up with something to talk, like say, like you just, but I'm gonna let it go.
Okay. All right, if everybody's okay with just letting it go tonight,
I
we
have
can
one
do that.
question.
Okay, oh,
No.
great,
Maybe
great.
Alexis
That
can-
makes me feel a little better,
No.
actually.
So, well, I don't know if anybody can even answer this. Being new to the commission and reading some of the, the reports that have, Alexis has put forward, and when people are buying a property that is abutting the wetlands or a waterway,
Mhm.
do the realtors tell them
Mm.
what the restrictions are on that property or what they could be?
So the
Because it
state
seems
of
like, with 36
yeah.
Range Road, it's like suddenly it's like, oh,
Yeah.
boom, now you got to spend $92,000 just to plant your backyard. Did he
Right.
know that when he bought the house?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Well, I'm just wondering, like when people come into your office, like, oh, nobody ever told me I had to get a
Right.
permit to do something in my own backyard.
right. So when a house is sold or up for sale, there is a state disclosure form, and that form asks, are there wetlands, and then is there a flood hazard area? And so if there are wetlands and water courses, the realtor is supposed to indicate yes, but then they don't have to expound on that, unfortunately.
Right.
So one of the reasons that when a new house is constructed, one of the special conditions that is always there is that the builder file map on the land records, so to make it clear that when a title search is done, when the house is sold in the future, that it comes up that it has to reference the map has to show the wetland, the water course, any designated required buffer, and refer to the wetland permit. So that's kind of how we try to, like, moving forward, let people know that there is more than just, oh, there's a wetland back there, there's associated landscaping kind of maintenance that you have to do. But then, yeah, it's definitely a problem getting the word out and making sure that people are informed. We do have, so most people that purchase a house get a mortgage, and the mortgage company requires, a title search. We do have a lot of good title search owners who call to confirm whether there's wetlands on the property or not, and if there are any permits or violations on the property as well. And so whenever they call, which is daily, we try to be as provide them as a complete kind of picture as possible. But
Okay, so they're given some information. They're not totally blindsided, but
you're right.
if they're told, oh, it's a possible flood zone, I could see them saying, okay, I'll have to get flood insurance or FEMA, but not thinking about if they want to put a deck or a patio or a swimming pool.
Right.
They don't know. They don't know that's going to entail.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which is why we keep trying to say we need to get the word out better before you make any alterations to check with the department, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's sneakier, like it's not sneaky. Sneakier is not the word I'm looking for. It's harder to. I would like to think people who have a water course within their property have some awareness. It's the wetlands that may not be delineated that are a little more difficult, I think.
Yeah, I think I would say that I see a mix of understanding.
Okay.
yeah, and I think more recently with people buying homes with just cash, didn't we? I know we've had at least one person, if there's no mortgage inquiry, we did have one person, I think maybe on Witch Lane or something, that had no idea that they had a wetland, and they did a lot of work. And I think that was one that you had never come to your office, Alexis, about the purchase.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
I think the other issue is that, if somebody's just doing landscaping, it doesn't necessarily go to zoning.
Right. So with the revised regulations, it should, and that again is a campaign to educate all residents. The zoning regulations now do have provisions for clearing, tree removal, retaining walls, the amount of grading that could trigger the requirement for a zoning permit or even a special permit, even if you're not doing any construction. But getting the word out to contractors, I think that takes some time to kind of get that message through. But right, a lot of people think, oh, I'm building something, I need to get a building permit. But if they're doing masonry and landscaping, often it's not on the radar.
All right. One of the things that keeps me up at night. Thank you.
anybody else? Okay, does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Do it, Catherine.
All right,
I was
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Heather's the seconder.
I'll second.
Okay,
I feel
all
like
in
we're playing
favor?
chicken here.
Yeah.
All in
Aye.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right,
I
thanks,
think
guys.
you're well within the record still, Cheryl, so I don't
Yeah, you
Awesome.
did amazing.
mind.
Great. Well, everybody have a good night.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you. Thank you,
cheers.
Alexis.
Thank you.
Bye.
Diana.
Thank you.
Bye.